The Steamrunner class was a class of ships that operated in the Federation Starfleet in the 24th century. Launched in the 2360s to 70s, the ship was a radical departure in design from conventional Starfleet ship design. The main deflector array dish was located in the front of a compact secondary hull that hung down below and behind the saucer section. Continuing the radical change in design, the engineering section was not directly connected to the saucer section. Instead, the two hulls were connected through the support struts that came at an angle from the warp nacelles. A unique element of the Steamrunner class was the arrangement of the warp nacelles and how they were streamlined into the saucer section, instead of being entirely separate and attached via the usual pylon arrangement. The ship was designed in such a way that the Bizarre collectors were in direct contact with the main hull of the ship, while the nacelles were protected under large cowlings located on the saucer. Steamrunner class vessels were first seen in service in 2373, showing that the class was designed in response to the threats posed by the Borg and the Dominion. Starfleet had experienced its darkest day at the Battle of Wolf 359 in 2367, when a single Borg cube destroyed 39 Starfleet vessels with the loss of 11,000 lives. In the aftermath of such devastation, Starfleet began a program of advanced ship design and building in case the Borg returned. Seeing the need of vessels that could combat superior enemies, Starfleet designed vessels that focused more on combat than exploration and discovery. The new types of dedicated combat vessels were best exemplified by the Defiant class, the prototype that was so powerful it almost shook itself apart on its trial run. Lessons learned during the development of the Defiant filtered down to other designs being prioritized for production, one of which was the Steamrunner class, along with the Akira, Sabre, and Norway classes of starships. Similar to the Defiant class, the Steamrunner class featured a sleek profile by getting rid of the long neck section between the primary and secondary hulls. This smaller profile meant that the Steamrunner class provided less of a target in combat. This was all made possible by advancements in warp technology that allowed for the engineering hull to be more compact than it had been on earlier Starfleet designs, while still being able to provide similar levels of power. While the dimensions of the engineering hull on the Steamrunner class were reduced greatly compared to earlier designs, there was still enough space to fit the deflector dish on the front part. The location of the dish towards the rear of the ship may have appeared odd, especially since the primary function was to clear asteroids and assorted space debris from the ship's path, but since it still hung below the saucer, it had a clear line of sight, so to say, to do its job. The placement of such a major component with a deflector dish at the rear of the ship also offered it more protection, a design choice that made a lot of sense considering the purpose of the ship was primarily combat. The main bridge and shuttle bay on the Steamrunner class were positioned and integrated in such a fashion that allowed them to have enhanced protection. Similar to the bridge and shuttle bay placement on the Akira class, although not as protected as the sunken command module on the Defiant class, its bridge was still partially shielded by the raised sides of the saucer. The main shuttle bay was located at the rear of the saucer, where the doors provided a safe and calm entry point since they were tucked between the nacelles. The design of the hull plating and escape pods on the Steamrunner class resembled those found on the Sovereign-class starships like the USS Enterprise-E. This shared design appearance marked both designs as contemporary, having been designed and built around the same time. The first time the Steamrunner class was seen was at the Battle of Sector 001 against the Borg in 2373, shortly after the Enterprise-E had completed its shakedown cruise. Steamrunner-class ships also saw action later in the Dominion War, participating in many crucial battles as a part of the Second Fleet. The Steamrunner class proved itself along with other types of Starfleet ships developed in the late 24th century as being a force that could take on the most serious threats the Federation had ever faced.